Okay, well, let's look at that. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Because there's 4 points here, A, B, C, and D. See that? Okay. At the bottom, point D, it says, millennialism. Remember, millennial means 1,000. With the A in front of it, that's called an alpha privative. This means this is the view that does not believe in a 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth. Okay. This is the Lutheran position, but it's also the position of historic Christianity and most of Christians today. So let's look at it real quickly. The church age, remember, 1,000 years symbolize the entire New Testament period, right? From the first coming of Christ to the second coming of Christ. Right before Jesus returns. Right before Jesus returns. And we don't know how long that is. In the Revelation, it says Satan's little season. Okay? So we don't know if that's 5 minutes or 5 years. Or we don't want it, but what is it? It's going to be what? Whatever it is, it's going to be brief. And that's all we can say, because it doesn't say more than that. I don't know how brief, but it's going to be brief. This is where Satan thinks, aha, look what's happening. I've persecuted the church so people are leaving the faith. I've seduced many Christians so that, they're still in the church, but who cares? They're not faithful to the message anymore. They're only Christians in name. And the idea is Satan's going to think that he looks like he has the upper hand. And when you're in warfare, real warfare, when do you make your move militarily? When you think you've got the now's the time to, and that's kind of what you get the impression that Satan's going to see, okay? Because the church is not going to be in good shape. He's going to make some kind of move, don't know what that is, okay? And Jesus is going to then squash him, which when we get to Revelation, to get to the text, I'll show you that. So it's a very brief season. And then what happens? Jesus comes back, and there's the resurrection and the rapture. Steve, see the rapture there? All that means is that there's the separation of the sheep and the goats, separation of people, right? There's Christians and non-Christians. People are raised from the dead and either go to hell, raised from the dead to go into the new world. People who are alive, their body will be transformed to go into the new world or whatever. Yes, Clarence.
When it says where if you receive the mark of the devil, that you're going to pass the opposite way. But that, when I read all that, it seems like it's taking more than just a few days or weeks for the devil to accomplish all this. So he's going to be here.
Well, no. This is why I don't want to talk about the whole book of Revelation, because most of you are not prepared for a study of the book of Revelation. What you're describing is the devil's activity in this entire time period. Okay. Yeah. And then at the very end, he's going to have a what? A push. Yeah. So when you describe the phase that looks like it's going to take more than time, more than a little season, you're describing the devil's activity right now. Yeah, in the 1,000-year period between the first coming and the second coming of Christ. Because while Satan is defeated and he's bound, that doesn't mean he's doing nothing. He's quite active, and I just don't have time to go into all that, but he works through certain agencies. Okay, this is why it's good just to leave the book of Revelation alone for most of you, to be honest with you, unless you have a good study course. What you need to do, you get to know the rest of your Bible really good. I'm giving you spiritual advice. And once you get to know your Bible really good, then go to the book of Revelation. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Okay, so pretty simple there. Now, let's go to post-millennialism. You see the word post? Post is in contrast. Look at point A and B. You have the word what in front of millennialism? Pre. Okay, you got pre and post-millennialism. Okay, what's the difference? Pre-millennialism means that Jesus comes back prior to the 1,000-year reign. Post-millennialism means Jesus comes back after the 1,000-year reign. Okay, well, let's look at this one. Post-millennialism. Okay, you see the church age, right? And then it says golden era, dominion theology. Okay. Notice the little note I have in the upper left-hand corner of C. This view is not as popular today. This view says that for 1,000 years the church will dominate the earth, and this view is trying to make a comeback in that theology called dominion theology. Let me explain this to you. This view agrees with our position that the 1,000 years is symbolic. Okay? But what this view says is Well, Jesus isn't going to come back to set up a 1,000-year kingdom. But what's going to happen is the church is just going to grow, and after a while, there's going to be so many Christians. We Christians are just going to take over the world. I'm being silly now. You can know when I go into my silly mode. For example, in this golden era, I won't have to waste money on putting an AIC mailer out in the community and spending all that money. People will be knocking on my door and giving me phone calls. Do you have an adult information class? We'd sure like to go. We have 500 people like to come to your adult information class. You get what I'm getting at here? That the church is just going to blossom, and it's just going to be hunky-dory and wonderful, and it's just going to be great for a long period of time. And then there'll be Satan's little season, okay? And then the universal resurrection and rapture. So this view basically is the same as D, other than our view is the church isn't going to get better and better and better. But the view in point C says, the church is going to get better and better and better. And that's what's going to make the devil mad. You with me? Okay. Now, point C is not as popular today. It's going to be A and B that are real popular today. Although there are some people in certain churches, and they tend to be Calvinistic churches, is trying to make a comeback, but whether it'll make a comeback or not, I don't know. But